Welcome back to Safely Divergent.
We are your hosts. I am Kirsty.
Hello, Kirsty. I am Eleanor.
Hi, Eleanor.
Great to meet you.
I don't really ever use your name.
I know, it feels weird. I never call you Kirsty.
Yeah.
Who is that?
We don't need to get into our long list of very odd nicknames for each other. So that's another day.
That could be its own episode, just reading off a list of the names we call each other.
All right. What are we talking about this week, Elle?
Today, we are diving into the spoon theory.
Yes, this is a concept that deeply resonates with me. It really resonates with people within the chronic illness communities and also many people in neurodivergent communities. So it's something we've used for a handful of years now and has been super helpful personally and in communication with each other. So we want to dive into it and give this tool to other people who may not have heard of this quite yet.
Right. So before we dive into how it applies to our daily lives, let's talk a little bit about where it all began.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's give credit where credit is deserved. This spoon theory was introduced by Christine Miserandino in an essay she put out in 2003. And you can find this essay at butyouDon'tLookSick.com because we will not do it justice. You need to hear and read in her own words because the way she puts it is just, it's impactful. And we don't want you to miss out on that. So please go check that out. But she crafted this metaphor to explain to a friend what living with lupus is like. And while I don't have a chronic illness, I do know what the weight of limitations feels like as a neurodivergent person.
Right. And I can really relate to this theory as well. So in a nutshell, the theory is that when you're healthy, you don't really think about your energy allotment. You just assume you have this endless supply of energy, or how Christine describes it, endless supply of spoons. But when you're living with a chronic illness, you have to wake up and ask, okay, how many spoons do I actually have today? So it's this powerful metaphor for how much intentional planning it takes just to get through the day when your energy is limited.
Right. So what you really explained here is spoons equals energy. Every action or task costs a spoon or a couple spoons.
I was going to say, it can be a few spoons, especially depending on the day. So like, for example, a shower for me, that's a spoon. It's kind of inconvenient, but it's not something that's going to take a lot of energy. So if you say, okay, I've got to take like a full shower, the whole gamut.
I was going to say a shower or a full shower, because those require different spoons. Just like a rinse off, you're right, maybe a spoon. But if it's a full shower and all the tasks that come with it, that might be 3 spoons. And I really have to allot for what that means for the rest of my day.
Right. And same with like socializing. Like, are we getting together with our small group of friends that we spend a lot of time with and it doesn't take a lot of spoons from us because we're sitting at our best friend's house? Or are we going to a big party with a bunch of people we don't know? That's going to take a lot more spoons than something more comfortable and familiar.
I think that's where this series is so helpful is we've really started to apply amount of spoons to the tasks that we have to do. And that's shifted how we move about our day and plan for our days.
Right. And there's no like science about it. There's no special number of like this equals 1 spoon. It's different for every person. It's unique. And it's different from day to day of sometimes the single task takes 1 spoon. Sometimes it's going to take a bigger chunk, a few more.
So why is this so relevant to many neurodivergent people? Our world just isn't designed to accommodate our operating systems. So the way Christine puts it, it's not just about having fewer spoons than other people. It's about living in a world that burns through our spoons faster.
Right. So if we think about the different domains of stress that we've talked about in the past, so the 5 different domains, biological, emotional, cognitive, social, prosocial, all of those things, all of those stressors in those domains take spoons out of our allotment. As an example, let's say you start off a day with 20 spoons, random number, but 20 spoons. If I think about my day so far, I slept through my alarms. and I woke up 2 minutes before my first meeting. So I was frazzled. Normally a morning meeting does not take many spoons, maybe one. And then
We tried to bounce back. We went for a walk.
And while on the walk, we're at the farthest point away. And I realized that I was supposed to be in another meeting at that time. So
we literally ran back.
This girl does not run. So again, this is like a weekly meeting that I have with this individual that usually takes no spoons from me. But in this instant, I show up and I'm sweaty and frazzled. Took a lot more spoons. Then Kirsty said, "Hey, will you please make some breakfast?" Okay, well, our fridge is empty. We don't have eggs. So we had to, scramble and do something that we didn't normally do. We both had to take full showers this morning. We have run through, at least personally, me, I have run through over half of my spoons for the day. I know it, and it's not lunchtime.
Yeah, and how we've implemented this in our day to day, I know that. I know your spoon allotment is running low, and I'm doing my best to not steal any more spoons from you.
Don't take my spoons. Because normally during a work day, by lunchtime, I've only used a couple spoons. I have a good routine. Everything's in order. Things go smooth, and I'm set up for the rest of the day. This was a different kind of day, and my spoons are running a little lower today.
So, Elle, how does the spoon theory tend to help us?
Okay, that's a good question. And I think it can help us both personally and then also in community or in how we communicate with other people about this theory. So if we think about like our own personal energy management, it's so important to tune into what drains us, what removes our spoons, and then also what replenishes us. So I keep this in mind when I'm planning my day or prioritizing my to-do list. So I know if I've had a really heavy morning that, like literally today, that cost me half of my daily spoons, that I need to do some recovery and maybe do some not so draining tasks that don't take so many spoons the rest of the day because I don't have many to spare.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. In the past, I would have a hard morning and I would still set the expectation of I need to get on my to-do list what I wrote yesterday or at the beginning of the week because that's what I set. That's what I have to do. And it would just really create this like harsh internal dialogue because I couldn't meet those expectations because I didn't have the energy or the spoons to do that. So being able to tune into what is draining my spoons out and be realistic about what spoons I have left helps me to prioritize that to-do list and set expectations that are manageable.
And that brings up a good point. And just to note, like budgeting our spoons or reserving our spoons doesn't mean necessarily doing less, like not getting things on a to-do list done. It just means being intentional with what we commit to.
As chronic people pleasers, we have always really had a hard time listening to these cues. So this language has been a really helpful communication tool. So we'll say things like, hey, like I'm low on spoons today, or if you have spoons, could you? So it opens the door to support each other and also to communicate where we are so that, if I get like a snarky comment or I'm not as helpful, you have an understanding of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, it gives us this like common dialogue to have these conversations.
And I often feel like that goes two ways of either you meet me there and you say, hey, I also am really low on spoons. And then it just helps reframe our interactions. We're more understanding of she's not mad at me. That is often what I say. What's happening is she just doesn't have the spoons to offer. She has to protect her spoons and prioritize herself to get through the day. I can't expect her to give spoons. Or the other route is you do have spoons to offer, or I have spoons to offer. So there's been times where I've said this to you and I'll go out on a walk to replenish myself and I'll come back and you'll have the music playing and candles lit and the lights dimmed and you'll be cooking a nice dinner because you had the spoons to offer. So I think it's been really helpful for us in those situations to have this mutual understanding or even like a conflict resolution.
Right, because if you can come to your partner or your family member or your buddy and say, hey, I'm sorry for the way I responded in that. I am low on spoons. I don't have those spoons. That can be a very like healthy way to talk about this so that you're not having these conversations when you are really low on spoons and things escalate.
You might avoid the conflict altogether with this language. Like, now isn't the time. I don't have the capacity to do this right now. Let's come back at a different time and figure this out. Ultimately, the spoon theory gives us this language to talk about our needs without guilt.
Right. For us, it's been really helpful to use this dialogue. And I think, too, like we've even started using it with our family and our friends, just like in casual conversations of, oh, I'm low on spoons, or like I don't have any spoons left today, or hey, if you have some extra spoons, can you blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we don't always explain this theory to people, but in context, people get it. Like when you're saying like, hey, I can't do this because I don't have the spoons, they don't need you to say, oh, explain this whole theory to me.
Yeah, what do you mean by you don't have spoons?
You grasp it in context. And then from there, I've had people afterwards ask like, hey, you mentioned like spoons, like what does that mean? And it just starts this conversation for other people to use it or better understand it. Because really what this theory does, it reminds us to slow down, to honor our limits, and to reject this idea that our value comes from how much we get done. Because when our needs are seen and supported, life stops feeling so heavy and it really does start to feel a lot more sustainable.
Right. We got to protect our peace and preserve our spoons where we can. Have I mentioned how I'm low on spoons today?
Oh,
do you have one more? Can we do scattered and then we can go snuggle up and watch a movie?
Please.
Okay, let's go to scattered. Okay, so I've got a quickie for us today. And this is something that I was like, I saw this posted somewhere. I was like, there's no way this can be true. Did you know that crickets are thermometers?
What? My literal brain is picturing a cricket as a thermometer. Right. So you're going to have to explain.
Okay, so they can't predict the weather, but their chirps can tell you the temperature. And it's like almost exactly right. It's like an exact science. So crickets are ectotherms, which means that like their body temperature and how fast they move depend completely on the environment and the weather. So when it's warmer, they're able to rub their wings together faster, which is how they make their like chirping sounds to like attract mates. So the faster they're chirping, the warmer it is because it's directly related to the weather. So this link between the chirping sound and the temperature has been known for a long time. It actually like has a name. It's called Dolbear's Law. And it was first published in 1897. So this isn't like some like new science thing. So here's the rule. You count the number of chirps in 15 seconds.
Okay.
And then you add 40. And that will give you the temperature in Fahrenheit. So for example, you start a timer for 15 seconds and you count 35 chirps. And you add 40 to it, 75 degrees. And it's like almost exactly right.
Oh my gosh, I want to go hang out with crickets now.
I know. The summer when we're sitting around outside and you hear a cricket chirp, you don't need to take the half a second to look at your phone to look at the temperature. You could instead take 15 seconds plus whatever math time your brain needs. But I thought it was such a fun fact. I've got a quiz for you.
Okay.
I've got true, false questions, just 5 quickies. Okay, true or false? Crickets are a delicacy.
Like to eat?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people eat these before. I think they're high protein. I'm going to go with true.
Yes, this is true. So in a lot of parts of the world, they're prepared in many different ways, and can be like considered a delicacy. So I saw this in Thailand. They'll fry crickets, and it's like a pretty common snack to have like with beer.
Okay, like instead of peanuts, you're eating crickets.
Yeah, and like you said, they're really high in protein and other nutrients. So it's like a very good food source.
I'd eat cricket.
I've had a
chocolate-covered cricket?
Yeah. I was going to say, I've had chocolate cricket. Okay, number 2. Crickets are a symbol of bad luck.
No, that is false.
It is false. It's the opposite. They are a traditional symbol of good luck. Okay, 2 for 2, man. You're on a roll. Number 3. Every species of cricket uses the same chirp.
No, that's false.
It is false. There are 900 species of crickets in the world, and they all have unique chirps. Every single one. So some experts have like, this is their field. They can just like listen and be able to tell what species of cricket it is.
I feel like I wouldn't mind being a cricket scientist.
I know.
A cricketologist.
Just be out in the field.
Listening.
Counting chirps.
Yeah.
Telling temperatures.
I don't think that'd be a bad gig.
Number 4. China holds cricket fighting.
Huh. I'm going to say no. False. Had to get one wrong.
It's true. It's been a popular pastime in China for over 1,000 years. Here's what I learned. They don't usually harm themselves. It's just like this kind of fun thing that's done. It says matches are usually decided when one cricket just kind of gives up or attempts to flee, and then it's done. So it's like no crickets are actually harmed in it. But it can become a big deal. And it says that the winner, which I don't know, it wouldn't go to the cricket, but the person who brought the cricket, I guess, can win.
The cricket trainer.
The trainer can win like over $1,000 if their cricket wins the fight. Okay, so this has been around since like the 13th century. It's been around for a long time.
I might have to look up TikToks now on cricket fighting.
I know, I'm sure there's some videos. Okay, number 5. Crickets are as efficient of a food source as cattle.
I have heard really good things about their protein content, so I'm going to say that is true.
It is false.
Ow.
But you're right. So crickets are 10 times more efficient as a food source than cattle and 100 times more water efficient to raise. So even better than cattle.
But why was it false?
Because the question was crickets are as efficient as a food source, but they're way more efficient.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, so you got it right. You just...
I see. Okay, I
misheard
really have always struggled with the true false.
Double negatives.
Yes, no's. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people believe that crickets will be like the best way to feed, this overpopulated planet in the future.
And they don't toot like cattle do. Yeah, I've seen like these little balloon bags you put on the back of cattle.
They bag their toots to keep them contained.
You may need to look into this for another week.
Save it for another week. Do not have the spoons for it today.
They gone.
You did pretty good though.
Thank
honestly. You. Great job with your pop quiz. Crickets tell the temperature. Count them. 15 seconds. Add 40 degree in Fahrenheit.
Now I know.
Let's call it.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you loved the episode, please take a moment to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or follow and subscribe on Spotify. For a deeper dive into this week's topic, follow us on social media at Safely Divergent and check out our blog at safelydivergent.com. Our cover art is by Honor Heindel and our music by Obey Gray. As a reminder, we're just 2 people with microphones, a lot of thoughts, and some highly questionable hyperfixations. We're not your therapists, doctors, or life coaches, so please do not base major life decisions on our couch chats. Until next time, we hope your nervous system stays safe and social, and your to-do list magically does itself.